Good morning,
Hey,
good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time you're watching this. I'm very excited. I am here with my brother, Michael
hey now.
Ligons. And we're here because we have a demonstration for you. So today we're going to be talking about herbs and medicinal plants that you can grow in your house for whatever use you may have for them. So would you like to talk about how you got into this a little
Yeah,
bit?
sure. Good afternoon, morning, evening, whatever. Again, my name is Mike. So I've been gardening now for probably 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. I started when I was up in New York, as you know, and we had a duplex with a very, very small backyard in Brooklyn. And, New York is a food desert. And, one of the things is I don't like the fact that so many people live inside of food deserts.
Okay.
And so
What is a food desert?
a food desert is anywhere where you don't have ready access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
And there's a more, and from what I gather, it kind of changes from city to city. Each municipality has a right to determine which area they would consider a food desert. And, based on that, I'm sure there's government programs that are associated with it or whatever. But nonetheless, there were more convenience stores that sold like the packaged Huggies and the little donuts and everything like that, and not
processed food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So because you all know we're in the middle of a 30-day no processed food diet challenge to help people transition to a healthier lifestyle. So it's not intended to be a diet necessarily, but just the introduction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So when I was up there, we had a backyard that was maybe 20 feet by 30 feet or something like that, whatever it was. And I just staked off a 10 by 10 pot, dug out my rows, added my fertilizer, and just pretty much started planting from there. It was a great experience. It taught me a lot about gardening, about being reconnected to the earth. And one thing that I will say that I had to contend with, right, is I'm living in the middle of New York City, major metropolitan area, and yet I'm trying to start a garden. So I bring that up to say that it doesn't really matter where you are or what resources that you have or how much space that you think you may have. Some of the things that we're going to talk about today, and then, based on your own research, it doesn't really matter where you are. You can really take control of your own food security and make sure that you and your family have what they need to be as healthy as possible.
Awesome. Did you want to quickly step outside and show them your garden? Would this be a good time?
Well, let's do that after.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's raining today.
It is. And so
I melt.
Oh, okay. Well, the garden is out there. That's why we're both looking that way.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, okay. So, what are we going to do today? Because this part you can do indoors.
Yes.
So, what do we have?
So today we have a couple of varieties of herbs. Now it's kind of late in the season, so we were with slim pickings, and then when we go to the garden, you'll see a little bit more. Now it is after the first frost, so a lot of the nurseries and greenhouses, they have actually shut down for the winter.
Yes, because I couldn't find any seeds actually. And I couldn't find a lot of fresh herbs, so that's why we're limited today.
Yeah, and so right here is just a pack of bell peppers.
The seeds.
Yeah, and we can do a little tutorial on how to save seeds.
Okay.
So that you never find yourself in that situation.
Oh, so you can keep your seeds from your last
harvest. Yeah.
Yep. And okay, that's good.
Yeah. And because and just as a sidebar, I come from a sustainability perspective.
Okay.
That everything that we use, and as much as we possibly can, we should always be thinking about reducing, reusing, and recycling, and recycling it back around. So I hardly ever throw away anything.
Okay. So what does that mean? You compost?
Compost. Save the pots, save jars, and you'll see a little bit later on in this tutorial, we had to recycle a container to suit our needs.
Right.
And it's part of it for demonstration purposes, but sometimes this is just what it is.
And that's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So I guess
it saves on money, and it's convenient, and it also helps, our
Environment.
Yes.
The word for outside is environment.
I couldn't think of the word, but it helps our environment. And yeah, so this is good. Okay, so let's just show them what we have. So we have lavender. I went and brought this today. We have 2 plants. Would you like to show them yours? Yes, we have 2 plants of lavender. Of course, this is not for edible purposes, but it's very medicinal. And you can use the leaves and put in your oils and create scented oils and other things. So maybe as this continues to grow, I'll do another video on what you could do with this for health and beauty. And then what else do we have?
We have some aloe.
Yes, we have an aloe vera plant that we're going to transfer out of this pot into another pot. We're going to do the same thing with this here. And then we have some basil.
Basil.
Yes, and it has the root bulb here. So we're going to have 2 options to get this growing. So what do you want to start with?
We can start with the basil since it's right here.
Okay.
And yeah, so let's jump right in. We got a couple bowls that we're going to transport everything in. And that's the other thing, you know, as people are watching, have fun and be creative with it, right? I mean, part of it is that this should be like a family thing. And, you know, you can bring in your children, grandparents, parents, get some arts and crafts things. Like these are relatively inexpensive.
Right.
A couple of dollars at the dollar store, but it's a blank canvas. So, you know, you leave it up to your own creativity, how you want to decorate it and or, you know, make it work.
Yeah.
So Davina has brought up the soil. We're going to take a little second to talk about the soil. Now, with growing indoors, the thing that you have to be mindful of, 3 things you have to be mindful of. Access to fresh water, the pot, the size of the pot, and then the nutrients that are in the soil. Now, the benefit of things being outside is, you know, you've got Mother Nature that brings the rain to you. The roots can grow pretty much as big as your yard or whatever it is. And in most cases, the soil is going to have enough nutrients to support whatever it is that you're trying to grow.
Okay.
But inside, you know, you're actually restricted by those 3 things: water, root ball size, and nutrients. So you want to make sure that you get yourself
access to sunlight.
And access to sunlight.
Yeah.
Yep, of course. Exactly. So you want to make sure that you get yourself some nice soil. I'm not advocating any brand over the other, but what you want to make sure that you look for is your nitrogen and your phosphorus content, and to make sure that it's aerated. Because that's very important, because you want to make that easy for the roots to spread out.
Okay.
Pot of size is important. We're taking the basil and putting it in a pot this big. And as you know, basil can take off and grow like gangbusters.
Oh, so what I got to do in the future?
So you might have to upsize the pot, and or with an herb like this, just make sure that you keep it trimmed. And you know, once you see a full blossom, cut a couple leaves off, dry them out, pound them up, whatever it is that you want to do. You're blocking the people from seeing.
Oh.
Sorry. And so, but yeah, so just be mindful of that. But if it is like a more indoor plant where you cannot, it's not edible, you know, you want to make sure that the pot is big enough. And you'll start to see telltale signs like when you go to stick your finger in the soil, all you feel is just a clump of a root ball. In some instances, the root ball might actually start growing up out of the top of the pot. I mean, that's a clear sign that, hey, we got to get a bigger soil for this, you know, things of that nature. But as far as nutrients are concerned, there are nutrients that you can add after the fact. But again, you know, just being mindful of what you buy. Again, nitrogen and phosphorus are important. Anything else that's in the soil, you know, just take it with a grain of salt. But sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you can't.
Okay, so this one is organic. And when I went to the store, I asked specifically for soil that has what it needs to grow food and not just non-edible plants. Yeah, house plants. Because I want it to be good quality soil feeding this basil, and then I'll probably be using the leftover soil, you know, come January or February when I can get my hands on some seeds. At Lowe's, they say they won't have seeds available until January. So so that's why I chose this. I specifically basically ask for this organic soil.
Organic.
All right.
let's-
So what we
let's get
doing?
into this.
So the two options that we're doing for this is we're gonna
reset.
put
What's that? Reset?
what?
Oh, I'm being extra. There's actually a perforated line on there.
Yeah, but you can't get it from the outside.
There we go.
Well, maybe I wasn't strong enough. But, so with the couple options, we're gonna put in here some soil. And then in here, we're gonna put water because the actual directions that come with this say to just put the root bulb in water. But we're gonna do two things.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the other thing, ladies and gents, make sure that you read your directions. Each seed pack and or plant is going to come with some directions. That makes things a lot easier. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. You know, people have been planting these herbs for hundreds of years and they figured out some things. Like there's a certain time of year you want to plant certain type of things. So just read the directions, find out what temperature zone you're in based on your geography, and then follow those directions. And you
Okay.
should be okay.
all right. So I have my shears here, my gardening shears.
Is it gonna work? You okay?
Well, what should I do? Just rip it open?
You can, but I think what might be better
Well, how is that different from this?
because you can't fit that on.
Yeah. Well, what you gonna do?
Just put it down and cut it.
Well, so what we're gonna do is take this and just cut it down the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just all the way down the middle like this.
And remember, so there was a study done, right? While Davina's doing it, there was a study done. Can't recall the study, but they ran an experiment where they came into a room where their plants were growing, and they had two plants. And the first plant, they like came in there and like hit it with like a stick, and they didn't touch the second plant. And that looks like peat moss, not soil. So
Oh.
yeah. And so what happened was after they did that a couple of times, the plant that they did not bother started to change the reading on the EKG machine or whatever the machine was. And the scientists started to theorize that plants are conscious of their environment.
Wow.
And I bring that up to say that the reason why I suggested that Davina cut it is because you definitely, when dealing with your plants, you definitely want to make sure that you treat them with a certain level of respect and dignity, because they are going to pick up on the energy and the vibration that you have in your home. And so if the energy isn't right, you know, then you're ingesting food that may not be like the best quality. So.
Okay. Well, I have love for these plants.
That's right. Gotta talk to them. Gotta talk to them
Love.
sweet.
Yes.
That's right.
You're gonna feed my soul well.
All right. So essentially, I mean, this part is very self-explanatory. We're going to fill it up now. When Davina showed you that root ball, you can see where the root ball is in relationship to where the majority of the stalk is. And so we all know that the stalk is what provides the strength and support, just like the human skeletal system.
Okay.
So we don't want that when after we plant it, that it's still drooping over.
Oh, well, the top part may be.
Right.
It seems like it needs some water.
Yeah,
That doesn't have too much going on for it. Okay, so what you do inside there?
So we fill it up to around about the line.
Okay, there's a line inside here.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that goes around. Okay, you filled it up to there.
And this one just makes sense that it's about an inch or two from the top. I mean, sometimes you
gotta get your hand in there like that.
Yeah. You want me to go on?
I do have some gloves here, but because I want to stay connected to the mother.
To the motherland.
Yeah. I'm just gonna bypass these gloves for today.
Yeah, if y'all know Davina, she's very
posh. Yeah.
All right, so perfect. Worked out a little spot in there.
Worked out a little spot, and then just put this in there like that.
Mm-hmm. Put that in there.
Now,
collapse the soil around it.
I feel like I want to dig it down in there a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, so one other thing that
should we have put water in here?
We don't really have to. I don't like doing it first because I'm postured. I don't like getting my hands really.
Oh, right. I felt like I made a focus stem or something. Okay, let me just not do that.
Fluff up the root ball just ever so slightly.
So let me just do that. Okay, so what you mean by that? Like,
yeah, just separate some of the fibers. You're gonna hear some snap, crackling, popping. It's okay. Just don't rip it apart. Just get in there and
see that? I didn't do that.
That's fine.
Yo, I'm gonna show you these plants in like a week and tell you if they still surviving. I don't know.
That's perfect.
Okay, that's good.
Perfect. Yeah.
So then, I'm getting dirt everywhere. I guess that's just part of it.
It's part of it.
Okay, so I stuck that down in there. I felt like I didn't go deep enough.
So we're gonna add more soil around the top, but and then now basil, as you mentioned earlier, is one of the saggier plants. So yeah, this is definitely a two-person job. So try to get all that stuff up off the ground as high.
All the lower, the baby stems.
Yeah. As I add some more dirt all the way.
Okay.
Now, as you can see, this is very, very simple. It's not anything super complex. And the same procedure will follow for the majority of all of your indoor plants, whether it be basil, mint, chives, rosemary, thyme, what have you. I find that it's a lot easier, obviously, to grow the herbs indoors. They are a little bit more resilient than the fruit-bearing plants like strawberries, watermelon, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, etc. And a lot of the ones that I just mentioned, they do grow like gangbusters, so they do need a lot of space.
I see.
All right. So we're gonna get that in there like that, and that should be good. Now,
okay.
Now comes the watering part.
So you just compact it down in there, but not too tight?
Yeah, not too tight. Just very soft. I guess, what is that? That's what you do for a baby for CPR, right? You just.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna add some water. All right, now, as you can see, I don't know if you can see on our workbench or on our countertop here, we have some.
Is it going to overflow at the bottom?
Nah. And if it does, it's fine. This is the first watering. So put that in there. Give it a second. Let it soak through.
We lost some of my basil leaves, but we can use this. I can go home and cook with this. You want to keep this?
Yeah. Now, so the thing about basil and some other plants, I think basil's one of them. Like even these plants like this, you can actually take that and just put it in water. And if it's not too dead, it'll rejuvenate itself.
Oh, really? Oh.
So basil, I believe, is like that. Mint is like that. And literally, guys and gals, I'm talking about taking a plastic container, your basil, your mint, filling it up with some water, and then just dropping it in there.
So I can put this in here?
Yeah, that's fine.
With the leaves?
Now, some plants actually operate best with a hood, basil being one of them. But we don't have to really do that today, but you can get these, and these could be either the plant bag that you bought it in, and or again, a couple minutes of arts and crafts. You can figure out all you really want is a clear plastic.
Oh, it is leaking out. Look, it is leaking out.
Okay. We have paper towels.
Okay, yeah.
And you want to put that on there to create like a greenhouse effect.
Okay.
All right, so that's that one.
Let me grab the paper towel.
So that's the basil in the plant or in the pot, and we will set this one aside. And I guess Davina will be back in a week to give you all a status update on that. Thank you very much. All right.
So we need to stick that in something so don't keep leaking over there.
No water never hurt nobody.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Yeah, because this one I see some roots off of it. It looks like it already started sprouting some.
Yeah, so that one will be the perfect candidate of going in here with the,
in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the water. Here's the other root bulb. Should I spread this one open a little bit too?
Now, so with the water, ideally you don't want any of that.
The moss in there?
Yeah, because dirt has bacteria in it,
Oh,
and it could create a root fungus.
oh,
But for today's purpose, we're going to put it in there. And what you're going to want to do is, in 2 or 3 days, after everything is loosened up, take it out, dump that old water, and put some new water in. Until only thing that's in there at the bottom are the roots.
okay.
Yeah, go
So
ahead,
just put it in there like that, and go ahead and put this one in there.
Yeah, and this one, we're actually going to put under the hood so you can get everything. Car jump, what's underneath your hood? Okay, I'm like.
Okay. So we're just tucking it underneath of there. It's gonna make it kind of humid in there, isn't it?
Yes, that's what you want.
Oh.
And so you're gonna see in a couple of days, probably, maybe even later in the night. Depends. Okay, don't.
Oh, not too. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You're gonna see that there's gonna be condensation that starts to form in there. That's a good sign. It means your greenhouse, because this is just.
Oh, like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
So this is like a greenhouse effect. Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
your greenhouse is working. And those are the ones that you can start cooking with right away, because it doesn't have the stem on it.
Smells good. Okay,
Yes.
so let's move on.
Let's move on. Put that on the side.
Excellent.
All right.
Now we have. Do you want to just do one lavender and one? I do the lavender and you do that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll head outside.
It's still raining, y'all. And I'm very posh. And I don't want to melt. But we can go outside.
I just want people to see. Because I mean, if he built a contraption for his outdoor plants, and I just want people to see that.
Sure.
I think it's wonderful. Just for 30 seconds, just so you can see.
Sounds good. Now, this one.
We can even stand at the end of the deck. You don't even have to go in the show.
Yeah, well, I can wear
I'm trying to help y'all.
Now, this one is actually a raised garden bed.
Oh.
The one I had in New York, where I started from, was a in-ground garden, and then I've done greenhouse as well as hydroponic units. So.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you have some chives. Is that hydroponic?
It is. It is.
He has some chives growing and some mint growing that's not hydroponic. And then he has the raised bed outside. That's other bulkier type vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you gonna drive this one?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Give me that dirt. Now, what I gotta
do? We're
do?
from the country, y'all. Y'all know that.
So just put this one in here. So this don't have a line inside here. See, y'all like my little pot? I like it. Sunshine for the winter months. Okay. Ooh, I can smell the dirt. What's this white stuff in here? I always wonder what the white stuff.
So they do two things.
There's white stuff in the dirt.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. But they help with moisture control as well as aeration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
excellent.
Really good.
So I put this much dirt in there. You said that's good for now, right? Okay.
Because now see, so this one, if it does take off like gangbusters.
Oh, look, the roots is coming out the bottom.
Yeah, you'll automatically see that you're gonna have to repot this relatively soon.
Okay. I should. What should I do?
It's fine. Okay.
So I just go like this.
So take the sides and
go like this.
Yeah. And so and then also in the bottom. And that's what you don't want to do is ever pull back, because once that separates from the root ball, it's a wrap. So you have to loosen it up so that when you turn it over, the ball actually just falls out in your support.
So like this?
Yeah. It should, and it might fall apart.
That's it.
Is it coming out? There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here it
Now you
comes.
can grab the dirt itself and try to and support it as it comes out.
Okay, got it. Oh,
There
look
we
at
go.
that.
Yeah. And so that's a great root ball, right? And you can see that it was actually starting to become root bound. And yeah,
Bound because they were starting to wrap around like
correct, correct.
this. Okay.
Now this one you
See the
want
roots? Yeah.
can you get it closer? Maybe. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, if you have a plant that size and a pot this big, you're going to run into that. Now, again, with this, you want to.
Oh, is that a bug?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things with having organic material is going to attract bugs. so now you don't. I think. All right, let's refocus. All right, so now wait before you put it in. Take it back out. You can see that it's going to need to go a little bit deeper.
Oh yeah. Oh, because we don't want the top of it sticking outside the pot.
Correct. And you want to again break up that ball.
Oh. Like this a little bit. The roots are all wrapped around it. I don't want to break the roots.
That's fine. So the fibrous parts of the root is going to be what's farthest away from the root stalk or the root stem. And so if you think about it, like this is the root, the main part of the root that's in the ground. Then you have all these fibers that grow out of it. What you're seeing around there is the fibers that grow off from the main root. So there can be some damage done to these fibrous ones and it still not affect that center stalk.
Oh, okay. So is that loosen up enough? Like, I just don't feel like.
Yeah.
How would you be doing it?
Yeah, I would come in here and just break it apart.
Oh. Oh, okay.
And ironically, I wouldn't even call myself having a green thumb.
yeah, okay. Because
So
I
now,
certainly don't either, but.
So now we put that in there like that. And I see these pots. It's fine for now, but as you can see, that's what
This is too small.
Now, you don't want to.
Oh, I don't want to push it down.
Yeah, you want to let it settle down into it.
So is this good?
Yeah. And
Okay.
we're just going to fill it in with dirt. Here, I thought these supposed to be done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the shifting around so that it gets.
So what I need to like feed these plants, because I know they got plant food and stuff. Do I need to do anything like that?
Right. So you can, but this stuff. I mean, I'm sure this is a 6-month feed. I'm sure. I don't know.
Oh.
This is.
Feed all season. Plant nutrition feeds all season. So I don't know.
Okay.
What is that? 4 months?
Yeah. Google. But yeah, so everything obviously has its own life cycle.
Right.
And so you just want to be cognizant of whatever soil that you buy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's not that bad. So I get my finger down in there. Make sure that it's not too compacted, but in a couple of days you're not walking downstairs like, why that plant drooping?
Oh.
Because the soil will settle.
Oh, so after the soil settles, like after I water it, it'll be more compacted, and I may need to add a little bit more soil in the coming days. Okay. That's good.
Water.
And then.
Yep.
That's good.
That should be good because you actually want it to drain out just a little bit on this first watering to make sure that
there's a full soak.
Yeah, because the roots are going to start to seek out where there's water.
Oh.
And you want the root ball to take up as much space, and that's why you also break it up. You don't want to just have a pot this big with a root ball that big.
Okay.
You want the root to actually start to expand.
Okay, so inside of here, there's a hole inside of these pots, there's a basil leaf in here, but so the water can drain out. Is there other time, any time where you want a pot that you don't want the water to drain out?
Yeah, like what you were doing with what we did with the basil.
Well, for obvious reasons, because you don't want the water to,
Right.
yeah. But
But
for most parts, you want the water to
Yeah.
drain out.
again, because soil has those microbes in it, and you don't want any bacteria infection to set in, at below the flat surface. So that's the other thing. Be mindful of how much water you give your plants,
Mm-hmm.
because you definitely don't want that soggy root, for a number of different reasons. But yeah, every 2 or 3 days, depending on the plant, obviously, should be a good cadence for
Right.
water.
Okay. Every 2 to 3 days.
2 or 3 days.
Okay. And
Especially
some of them
for,
say you're supposed to stick your finger in there. I know aloe vera, can't remember, but they don't like a lot of water.
Correct. And that's, yeah, so especially for like your grassy type, like the basil, that takes a lot of water. Chives takes a lot of water. Or I have to say, they can absorb a lot of water and they just get bigger.
Okay.
Aloe doesn't quite work that way.
Okay.
So, it doesn't necessitate a lot of water.
Okay. Got it. So this one has a hole at the bottom, and then we have a tray that.
I bet you there's a technical name for that.
Oh.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so this time I'm gonna put so we have another lavender plant in this other pot, and so this is a gift to my brother for helping me. I'm sure he can find some uses for lavender.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Does it smell? Maybe if we take it off and grind it in your hand.
So I think.
Or is it the leaves?
Yeah.
It's these parts. Okay, well we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that
I don't know.
I have a distiller and I haven't yet used it. I'm not gonna tell you what I use it for.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't yet used it to distill herbs and to extract their
But you
essential oils.
can? Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So,
really interesting. Oh,
yeah.
so maybe you can try it.
Yeah.
I mean, with this, try it with this plant. I mean, what you gotta do?
So
Get back to us.
yeah, because I have like a 2-liter distilling pot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would imagine that I would need a massive amount of dried and or semi-dried plant material to actually produce any real results. So.
Okay. So what we got to do now? So we put this much dirt in there to start.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I do like to do.
Oh, look, the dirt came out.
Yeah, to prevent the dirt from falling out, you can always put stones.
Should we put something like? Should we put a paper towel? That's gonna create mold.
Yeah,
Don't do that. Okay, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, so a layer of stones down at the bottom,
Okay.
and then put your dirt, and then you shouldn't be concerned about that. A lot of water to drain through. It helps improve some of the air circulation, and you won't get that one off. But
yeah, that's all I have right now. I didn't know.
Yep.
Okay, so what I got to do with this one?
The same procedure. Now these, they got these ceramic pots. So if it doesn't work, that when you turn it upside down, that it just comes right out. We can always.
Oh, it did.
Okay, great. Now.
Oh, look, it got that in there. You want to put that in there?
No.
It came with this plastic wrapped around it. We don't want that.
No.
No, I mean at the bottom of this, so the soil won't run out. The hole. Oh no, because that's gonna stop it from running, the water running out. Okay.
So we're just.
So this one. Oof. Okay. Now this one I can see has thicker roots.
Mm-hmm.
See the thicker roots right there? You see that thicker root right there?
Yeah, so if one of these little hair roots fall off,
that's okay.
That's okay. To a certain extent, we don't want to. All right. Right.
It's just going up my nose. Okay.
All right. Cool.
So it's sitting in there, and
Yep.
then I just do what we did the last
Yep.
time, right?
So now, how do you use your aloe?
Oh, so before the last plant I had, before that,
You might not want to put that on there. But you're teaching people what to do.
well,
Don't do what you did last time.
yeah, I don't even know why it died. I think I watered it too much
Mm.
because it just didn't do right. So what I would do is I would cut off a piece, and then I would use it as moisturizer for my face.
Mm.
And of course you can put it like on your skin if you have like really dry skin. It works really well like that. It's better than buying, the aloe vera that's in the containers in the store already, because this is just fresh, no preservatives, nothing to improve shelf life. And then once I cut it off, well, it was the real thick leaves. Or you can buy the big aloe vera in the store,
Mm.
the leaves.
Yeah. Like the big cactus looking.
Yeah,
Like,
in like the produce section.
mhm.
And I just wrapped it with some saran wrap and put it in my refrigerator to keep it good.
Yeah, now I think what a lot of people think about when they think about aloe vera are the topical solutions, like your soaps, your lotions, on top of abrasions, cuts, scrapes, things of that nature.
Eczema and things.
Yeah.
But you can do
But
it.
you can ingest it, yeah.
Yeah, you can. People put it in their smoothies. I don't think I've ever tried to ingest it. Maybe
It has a very unique taste.
Okay.
and consistency.
So what did you do? Grind it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Because another thing that I see people do with aloe vera, because it has like a yellowish sap that comes off of it, and you don't want that. That stuff is real bitter.
Mm-hmm.
So people let that drain out, like sit it in water, and the water will start to turn yellow. So they don't get that in their smoothie before they consume it. So this is good.
Now with that one, I don't know if that was too much water, not enough water, but because of the nature of aloe, definitely wanted to get some level of moisture in there.
To start.
Yeah,
and then I probably won't have to water it for a while.
But obviously keep an eye on it. There's such hardy plants where it's kind of hard to determine.
Well, because I think you're supposed to stick your finger in the soil, and if it feels damp,
then you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Then you don't have to water it. So I think that's all we're gonna.
Oh, one other thing.
Sure. Nope. Go ahead.
The one other thing is, okay, then we had the tutorial on what happens when you purchase already these saplings. That's trees.
Seedlings?
Seedlings. Okay, seedlings, whatever. Yeah.
Are they seedlings?
Yeah, so the plant has already been started. So all you have to do really is repot. But the question becomes, as you were talking about earlier, how do you start from seeds?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, starting from seeds. Oh yes.
Now this is some bell peppers that all of these came from the garden. These came from the grocery store. It's a combination of both, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that can create a problem. So with seeds in general, the best seeds, sometimes you're only going to get an 80% germination rate. With stuff that you buy in the grocery store, I find that sometimes it's not even that great. So you're
because the quality of the seed is not good.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of it's GMO, hybrid, et cetera, et cetera. But so if you put 100 seeds in the ground, you would expect 80 of them to germinate. Whereas if you get it from the store, it's, in my experience, has been a lot less.
Okay.
So here we have just some regular seeds. I don't know if you all can see that. That we just got from
here. Let me.
Pepper plants.
My hand is the same.
Yeah. Sure. We need some black. Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Nope.
Okay. Because the seeds are pretty light in color.
Yeah.
They actually look like the seeds from inside the red pepper.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Those will grow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And now again, that's if it's a quality green pepper or red pepper or chili pepper or jalapeno pepper or tomato seeds, whatever it is. Green
Y'all know
seeds.
when you cut open a red pepper and you get the seeds inside there? That's what this is, the seed, or just fell down. Oh, that's amazing. So if I cut open a red bell pepper, I can just take the seeds, rinse them really good, and spin them out and let them dry.
Yep, you take this regular paper towel like this. After you do what you just did, cut them out, rinse them off. You sit them on a paper towel. Try to keep it covered, and then just let them dry, and then you're good to go.
And you can store them in a brown envelope like this. Yep. And how long do seeds last? Like.
So in a temperature controlled environment, yeah, for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, like the seed bank in Norway, Sweden.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
So they human beings have figured out, hey, we gotta make sure we save some stuff here.
Wow.
So to start from seeds, for most seeds that you're gonna get in the grocery store. Now, certain herbs, you don't have to go through this process what we're about to go over. You can just buy the seeds. You can soak them in water overnight if you want to, and then just directly deposit them right on top of the soil, and then sprinkle some more.
They don't have to go so deep.
No. You just want them to be in a dark, moist area, but not too cold, because you definitely want to keep the bad bacteria from growing like gangbusters.
Okay.
So you take a clean paper towel, you just dunk it in water, wring it out. Oops, I got a problem with water going everywhere today. So this one is fold it out in half, lay that down, and then just
how about we just hold it up like this so people can.
And sprinkle your seeds on there like that.
He's just sprinkling them out.
And
can't really see it because it's a white paper towel.
Yeah, I think they get the idea. Some of you may have done something very similar in elementary school. And so
you put them on one side right here and spread out about an inch between each one.
It's about an inch on an inch square.
I guess you can't really see it.
Yeah.
And then you fold this half over top without the seeds like that.
Yep. And then you just got a regular plastic bag. Place this good guy. Whatever. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like that.
You're like that?
Ooh, one of them came out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. And then you get as much air out, or?
Air is okay.
Okay. And then seal it?
Yep. But you're, and again, you're going for the greenhouse effect. So when you start to see, now some instances it might puff up a little bit, and so you can open it up to let some of that, whatever that gas is, out, and then get some fresh new air in it. But while they're in there, each one of them has their own. Each plant will have their own germination timetable. So, water bottle, nice clean water out of spring water or distilled water. I don't like using distilled water, plenty, but good spring water. If it dries out and you don't get the sprout just yet, just spritz it with some water in there. You spritz it with some water, and
like the paper towel.
Yep.
Do you want to drench or just stand?
No, you don't want to drench. Just like how you dunk it in there and you squeeze most of it out. It still should be moist, but when you hang it, if you were to pick it up, you don't want any water droplets coming down. But you don't want to do the type thing up.
Okay. So and then you just fill it back up and let it keep going.
Yep. And then
now what would it look like to know that it can go in the dirt now? You'll see roots coming off of it?
Yep, you will see the actual the sprout. So when seeds
the little tail that comes off.
Yes. When you start to see things like that, and depending on what it is and how hardy it is, you might have to take it from there into an intermediate step. And if you pause the video, I can go downstairs and dig up the tray that I'm talking about. The
Okay.
name eludes me. And then, want to pause it?
Yep, I'm gonna pause the video.
All right, so back from commercial break. That's what they say when they say.
Yes.
They don't say pause the video.
Action.
Yes. So these seed trays,
Mhm.
you can get them from your local nursery garden shop.
What does this look like?
Oh yeah. So
it's
yeah, essentially it's a bottom tray that has individual pockets in them. And they range from 48 to 72. You might even get them online that maybe have 160 or however big the seed tray is. And they have a bottom part. And then what makes it unique is this. This goes on top of here like that.
Oh, for your greenhouse effect.
And again, it creates a greenhouse effect. So you can go from the seedlings that you have in here.
Once it gets a little
Once they sprout,
the little tail.
you put them in here. Now,
One for each one?
Yeah.
One for each of the little.
One or two.
Okay.
You definitely don't want to overcrowd it, because then when you go to plant them, if they're not like a chive or a thyme or basil, if they're like, if you put 4 tomatoes in one of these, tomatoes, they need space. Even though they're gonna start off small, but they need space. So then it's just gonna create a headache down the road.
Oh.
Yeah. So the medium that
I have a question. Like in our basil, we had a couple stalks coming off of it, right?
Mhm.
So is it one stalk for each seed, or is it multiple stalks in one seed? Or it depends on the plant?
Depends on the plant.
Okay.
And basil specifically, I think it's just one stalk per seed.
Okay.
But the great thing about basil is as long as you keep it
trimmed
and watered, it'll just keep growing.
You'll have to show me how to trim it.
Yeah.
Can you get that? Let me get.
All right, let's finish this.
Okay, yeah, finish this.
All right, so
I
the
forgot
medium,
to ask you that.
the medium that you can use are typically like 3 things. Now, I would suggest at this stage you keep it as inert as possible. So when I say inert, I mean like your peat mosses or your cork. Cork type material as the medium in here, because this one will have a lot more moisture in it than what these will, because these are open to the sky. Even if it gets hot, there's evaporation. In here, there really is not as much evaporation.
Well, can't you just take the lid off?
You can, but then that defeats the purpose, because at that stage they have to be protected, guarded. They need a little bit more heat, a little bit more higher elevated heat, and a more ready access of water.
Okay.
So you don't want, and it's not to say you don't want it, but soil, again, because if the soil gets too wet, it'll start to grow mold. In a lot of cases down here at the bottom, they don't have, some trays do, but not all trays will have drainage holes.
Okay. But I didn't see drainage holes inside of these little things.
Yeah, these have drainage holes.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there is drainage holes.
These guys, they have holes in them.
Okay.
So the water can flow through these guys, but then they sit inside of a tray that doesn't have holes in it.
Oh.
So as the roots grow down and they grow out of here, they actually will sit in the water.
Oh.
That's just, if you keep them in here that long and they get that big.
Okay.
But that's.
At that point, you probably transfer them into a different pot.
Yep.
Okay, so this, you don't put soil in here. You put cork.
Or peat moss or any other inert material, medium.
Okay.
All right, and so, and how do you clip your basil?
Yeah, so I don't kill it.
Yeah, I don't want to kill it. So you always want to go close to the stem and just cut off the leaves.
So when I cut this off, do I cut it right here or right here? Cut it right here.
Not actually on
the main stalk.
Yeah.
Just right here.
Yes.
Oh, I see one button right there.
Well, yeah, you see the pattern that it's going to grow from.
Look, let me show y'all. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, see that little one right there? It's one that's about to come off in here. Like oh, look, there's little ones right here that's coming off. So if I cut this one will keep growing.
Yeah. Now cut it
And
a
then-
couple of millimeters away from the stalk. You don't have to cut it directly on the stalk.
Okay.
And that's important because if you cut it too close to the stalk, number one, you run the risk of actually damaging your own stalk. And then number two, if there ever is, and make sure your utensils are always clean when you cut it.
Okay.
Because if there's ever any foreign, object, once you cut that stem, it's like you having a cut on your arm. You want to keep it clean.
Oh.
And if you cut it too close to the source,
Mhm.
anything that will infect, can actually reach the stalk, and that's what you don't want.
Right.
You'd rather that last little bit to die off and fall off before it affects the rest of the body.
Okay. So thank you so much, Michael.
Yep.
I do have some questions for you, just really short questions. And
We're probably gonna take another commercial break.
yes, and
Yeah, that means pause the video.
So we did
basil,
we did aloe vera,
aloe,
and we
and
have
lavender.
a beautiful lavender,
And
and
the
then
other
we have
basil.
the other basil that is just in water. And so hopefully I'll show you how these things hold up over time. And so, okay, thank you. We're gonna come back and I have a couple questions.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely.
This has been an honor and a pleasure to sit before you
Okay.
and learn how to grow medicinal herbs and edible herbs.
Absolutely.
Yes, which are medicinal too. So thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get to the questions.